I'm Dan the Board Game Man. You can find me at Geek John Bond, so feel free to tweet me any of the games you are anticipating for the year. You can also find me on the Geek All-Stars podcast or as a contributor to TMSPM, where I do a board game segment with Scott and Brian. I'll be back soon with more board game top 5 goodness. But until then, hey, grab a new board game and have some fun with family and friends.
Here we go. A Friday. Not the Friday, but a Friday. Well, hello, Marshall, 7-Eleven, KB Bells. Oh, the great NATO is in, huh? Man, we must be very special to have him in the chat today. Finally, Friday is being brought to you this week by Major Spoilers VIP and Patreon members from around the world. You can show your support and keep this show going strong by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Hey, how you doing? Happy Friday! Finally Friday! We made it through another week. We're all doing okay, I hope. Look at all the people in the chat today. Oh, you guys are so awesome. So many nice peoples hanging out in the chat today. Remember, if you're watching this in the replay, you can watch it live and get in on all this talky talk action going on in the sidebar by going to twitch.tv/Major Spoilers and hanging out with us Friday, 4 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Adjust your clocks accordingly because, oh man, what is it like? Are we coming up to daylight saving time? What time does daylight saving time start? That's got to be coming up pretty soon. I almost said it's going to come up pretty good. Actually, I like daylight saving time. I would get rid of standard time and go to regular time, to daylight time. That's what I would make my regular time. Daylight time is regular time, but that's not the reason why you're here. We're not here to talk about standard time. Oh, really? March 8th is when daylight saving starts? Wow. Okay. That is just coming up in next week. Oh man, I didn't think about that. Somebody's gonna be grumpy in the morning, not me. I actually like when it's lighter in the morning so I can go out and do my walking. But I know the youngest hates it when he loses an hour of sleep. He's gonna be crabby for a week. Easily. Don't forget, if you are an Amazon Prime member, you have a free Twitch subscription. Just click on that purple button at the top of the Twitch page and support us. Take that money out of Jeff Bezos' pocket and put it right into our pocket. Every little bit helps. Thank you so much for that, Kevin11. Kevin's really good at hanging out in the chat and providing those kinds of informations. I bet if I ask, he'll even put a link to the Discord where you can go hang out and talk after the show is over with a bunch of other cool people. Because that is just the kind of cool guy that Kevin11 is. And I know, I call him Kevin11, and it's not what his screen name is. But I've got a Ben 10 fixation, thanks to my children. So there you go. Oh, hey, real quick, here's some things that came in the mail. Just a couple of things, and I'll get to some more in a minute. This one came in from Paizo. This is Starfinder. For those of you that are Starfinder players, a deck of mini worlds. And as this is described, it says basically there's 100 cards in here. You draw 3 of them, and then that combo creates a world for you. Now, of course, they all come in the cellophane wrapping that'll go into the ocean, and then Doctor Who will have to do an entire episode about the plastic in the ocean. Oh, man, I can never open these things up. Never can open these things up. There we go. I'll just take these top 3 and let's see what we get here. So, insurance company is calling. So I guess you roll some die and figure out which one of these things go. But for example, here we go, a gas giant. Gravity is standard, the atmosphere is normal. The biomes are airborne, radioactive, space thermic, wispy bands of whitish gas pulse from the northern pole of the deep red gas giant, rippling down the world's surface. And it's got a bunch of like little things that you can use to tag. And then if you flip it over on the other side, it's got some characters that you can have inhabit this world. The Strix or the Velstrak. And then there's a whole bunch of cards for that. So if you're somebody that likes playing Starfinder and you're having trouble creating worlds for your characters to play in, check this out from Paizo. It's Starfinder, Deck of Mini Worlds. They sent that, one of the many things that they sent this week. Actually, it was last week. May have been actually a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember. But out today, if you are a fan of the Dungeons and the Dragons, it's Dungeon Mayhem Monster Madness, the third volume of this set, the third expansion of this set. Of course, they had the base set that Brian and I played on a Munchkinland episode, quite a while ago. And then the second one, what was the second one? I don't remember what the second one was. Baldur's Gate was the second expansion. And now they have this one. This is a good game to play one-on-one, or, two players playing. I think you can go up to 4, and maybe now with these expansions, maybe you can get, it says 2 to 6 players, Stephen, if you would just read that. So Monster Madness, this just went into stores today, and I'm going to guess, because I've seen this at our local Walmart, that it is available in fine stores everywhere. Yeah, fine stores everywhere. Something that, one more thing, and then we'll get to our main topic today. A couple more things, actually. So that is from Wizards of the Coast, the Monster Mayhem. 2 other things arrived, also from Paizo. Here's the Pathfinder Extinction Curse. The show must go on. It's a circus-based campaign for people who are playing Pathfinder 2.0. And Sam and Brian have been looking at this and playing with this. They have nothing but positive things to say. Very excited about some of the mechanics and some of the circus tricks and some of the things that you can do. This is available now in physical form as well as on Drive-Thru-RPG. And then the other thing that Paizo sent my way was Lost Omens, Gods and Magic, another resource book, again, for those of you who are playing Pathfinder 2nd edition. Oh, look, here's some Nordgoobers. I think that's how you say their name. Nordgoobers. That's what I'm going to call them. So, hey, some people are showing up late. Hey, Kevin 11 is on mobile today. Oh, Chris just walked in. Well, I guess now that Chris is here, we can get started. So at the beginning of the month, we had Locke Key dropped on Netflix. A lot of people very excited about that, including me, because as you know, I am a huge fan and a huge supporter of IDW's Locke and Key, the comic book series from Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez, not Robert Rodriguez. That'd be pretty weird. But from Gabriel Rodriguez, and that book is so good. Now, for those of you that don't know, although I'm wondering how you don't know by now, but Joe Hill is the son of Stephen King. So there's some horror writing in the family. And when you read Locke and Key, the comic book, some things that you should know. Number one, it is very, very violent. It is, it's got a lot of death. It's very deep. It's got talks about suicide. It's got mental trauma. It's got implied rape that has gone on. It has a lot of heavy, heavy horror stuff. And not like horror like The Thing. And certainly not the horror like, I don't know, some scary alien movie, right? But it's horror. It's the Stephen King type horror that you should know. And if you've seen or read any of other Joe Hill's stuff, the Nosferatu series that's running, that kind of stuff, you know the type of horror that you're getting into with Locke and Key. The Locke and Key story is the Locke family. The father has been murdered, and so the remaining family, the remaining rest of the family has decided to go back to Massachusetts, to Lovecraft, Massachusetts, to take up in the ancestral Locke family home that goes back all the way to the Revolutionary War and perhaps before. And when they get there, the children start discovering these strange keys that allow them to have some incredible powers, like unlocking your brain and being able to take memories in and putting new things, or taking old memories or bad memories out and putting new things in. There's a key that will change your face, change you from a boy to a girl if you want. There's an anywhere key that lets you go anywhere in the world if you've seen a picture of it or you know about it or been there before. Just all sorts of keys. And then there is an evil entity who wants to open the door to another dimension with the Omega Key. And Dodge is a very, very bad person in this book. And it goes on for many, many, many volumes. The first volume, Welcome to Lovecraft, is a really, really good book. If you're looking for a place to start, definitely pick up Welcome to Lovecraft. The art by Gabriel Rodriguez is fantastic, just mind-blowing, such high detail that goes into that comic book. And I just can't say enough about that series. If you can get in an omnibus form, go for it. If you can get in one of those big-sized hardcover collections, go for it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you're a fan of horror and you're a fan of really good art and a fan of sequential art, then I think that you will enjoy the Locke Key comic book. And I've been saying this now for, gosh, how long has Major Spoilers been around? Almost 15 years, since 2006. So for almost 14 years, I have been saying that Locke Key is a book you should read, along with Atomic Robo. Those are the two comics that I have continually pimped and have continually been impressed by, and will continually tell people, if they're looking for something beyond capes and tights, to go pick up Locke Key and go pick up Atomic Robo. That's by different creators, but it's still being released. The collections are being released through IDW. So then in about, 2010, like 6 years ago or something like that, 2014, there was word that Fox was going to adapt Locke & Key for a Fox television series. And they went so far as to film a pilot for this thing. I don't remember if they showed it at a San Diego Comic-Con. I don't think they did. But whatever, that pilot was filmed, and then Fox said, no, we're not going to do this. And maybe it's because they never read the source material, which, again, not for kids. It's got stuff in there that, yes, it features teenagers, yes, it features kids, but it's not a story for your 8-year-old to pick up and start reading. Maybe your 12-year-old, but you need to have a conversation with the kids afterwards. And then for years, just went away. There was rumors that it was going to be over at Hulu, and then Hulu passed on it. And it seemed like, we'll never get a Locke & Key series until finally Netflix is like, yeah, we'll do this. And so we got a 10-part series that landed on Netflix at the beginning of the month, and I have watched all of the episodes. And I gotta say, it's okay. It's just okay. And I think this is the problem. So let's approach this from what's good about it. I think all the acting is fine. I think the actors are really good. I think the person who plays Dodge, and I think the person who plays I just call her Well Lady. I forget what her name is in the show. But those two actors are really good. I think all the Locke children are good. Kinsey and Bodhi and what's his name? All good. The mom is okay. I'll come back to her in a minute. Their uncle, hardly in the movie. The key house itself is really pretty cool, and some of the ways that they bring forth the keys into this world is neat. They whisper to the children, and the children find them. The powers are a little bit different. So, for example, the head key still attaches into the back of your head. But in the comic book, your lid flips open. And you can peer down into your head and poke around and do all those kinds of things. In the TV show, there's a door or something that materializes that allows you to go in there. And when you go into someone's head, it's very different based on who you are. So instead of just looking into the head and seeing all the memories that you can pluck out and do all those kinds of things with, like you see in the comic book, if you're Bodhi, you climb down into a big toy chest and his brain is just filled with representations of toys that represent his memories. For Kinsey, her mind is represented by a mall, right? And so you go in there and all her memories are in different stores inside of this really weird Escher-like mall. And so those kinds of things are really cool. The effects are pretty cool. The story is really solid, but I will say this. Locke & Key, the TV series, is not Locke & Key, the comic book. And I know that some people expect direct adaptations, and that's probably where I'm coming off with the Locke & Key TV series is just okay, because it is not a direct adaptation of the comic book. Certain plot points, certain storylines have been changed drastically. Things that happen in the comic do not happen at all in the TV series, and vice versa. I think one of the biggest changes that initially put me off, I watched the first episode and I was like, oh gosh, I really like Locke Key, and I'm friendly enough, on a conversation basis with Chris Ryle over at IDW, who ushered this in and has been very supportive every time we say something nice about Locke Key. Man, I can't tell them that I'm not a really big fan of this, because one of the very first things they do is they change the name of the city from Lovecraft, Massachusetts to, I don't know what they even call it, Morgansville or something. It's just a fairly mundane name. And the reason why they did it is because, of course, Lovecraft is a horrible racist. And we don't want to name a town after a horrible racist in a TV show that is definitely got a lot of different representations going on in the show, and then have people suddenly have a freak out because of the name of Lovecraft. And I was like, okay, I can deal with that. I can even deal with the effects of the different keys. What really, though, set me off is that there are characters in this, and again, I'm going to be horrible with names here. In fact, let me just bring up IMDb so I can make sure that I have all of the names correct. I should have done this ahead of time. Way to go, Steven. All right, so here we go. Let's get into the characters. Season 1. And let's go to welcome. Oh, Matheson. Matheson is the name of the town that they have moved into. So characters like Duncan and Bodhi and or Tyler and Kinsey and Bodhi, the kids, they're really good. Nina Locke, I'm okay with her as the actress. Echo is the female version of Dodge. Even Rendell Locke, I really expected Rendell because I read the comic books, to be a little bit more burly instead of as thin as he is. But the weird thing that really kind of was off-putting is in the book, what is her name? Let me see if I can... Ellie. No, not Ellie. Ellie is a new character that is introduced, right? Yeah, Ellie is No. Ellie is the woman who is the track coach. She's the one that has this connection with the Locke family from when they were kids. She has memory of the keys, which is fine because that's how it is in the comic book. But there's another character that is introduced. Cho is his last name. He instantly knows what's going on, and something horrible happens to him at the very beginning of the show. And the idea behind the magic of the keys is that you're supposed to forget as you get older, and that part was kind of erased from this. So they try to bring it forward into the story, because in the very first episode, Nina has something happen to her in which she gets involved in one of the keys, the mirror key, which I believe is also a new key. And the kids have to save her, but then the next day she doesn't have any memory of anything going on, of any traumatic experience. So you do have some new characters introduced. Tyler's love interest is changed slightly. You get this horror movie aspect thing that's going on that some of the kids are doing. That's very different. The biggest problem, though, that I have is this doesn't feel like adult horror. And ultimately, for me, Locke & Key, the TV series on Netflix, is good. Okay, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. I watched all the episodes. I kind of want to see what happens next. I want to see a season 2. Especially with the big surprise twist ending that nobody saw coming a million miles away. I want to see a season 2. But if you're someone who has watched Riverdale, if you're someone who has watched Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures, oh, thank you so much, the Morpheus. If you're someone who has enjoyed the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and I would say that even the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina gets a little bit more intense than Locke & Key does. This is a very watered-down, kid-friendly-ish version of the Locke & Key story. Sam Lesser is the other character that they set up, and they give him a purpose, but then because Bodhi discovers Echo so early in the show, Sam Lesser's role essentially has no point after that. There's really not the motivation for Sam Lesser to travel all the way across the country to hunt down the kids in Matheson. So there's some weirdness that's going on that just didn't sit right with me. That's fine. It's not going to be appealing for everyone, but if you've not read the comic book, and you're going in and watching the Netflix series Locke Key, it's very good. I think you will enjoy it. I think you will get the point of what Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez were doing in the comic book. But if you want to go a little deeper and you want to read the comic book and you want to be a little bit more terrified and you maybe want to be going, oh my gosh, these are some pretty intense situations for kids to be in, then the comic book is much better than the TV show, in my opinion. So here's a really good question from Kevin11 in the chat. Do you think if you saw the show first before reading the comics, your opinion would be different? Yes. If I watched the show blind, not blind meaning I couldn't see, sorry. Don't mean to offend anybody with that. But if I had gone into the show blind and not been aware that it was a comic book first and watched the show, I'd be probably sitting there going, yeah, this is pretty intense. Look at all these magical keys and all this cool stuff. Wow, how cool is that? And then if I read the comic, I would probably be going, wow, this is nothing like, or this is adjacent to, I shouldn't say nothing like, this is very adjacent to the TV series, and how come the TV series didn't include all these other cool parts? It's really weird. I kind of thought that they already knew that this was going to be a multiple season show, but it really felt like they wanted to make season 1 self-contained and try to tell as much about the story as they could, just in case they didn't get a second season. And so really a huge chunk of the entirety of the Locke and Key book series is compressed into this first season of the TV show. So where do they go from here? I don't know. Probably a lot more keys. And certainly there were a bunch of keys that were not discovered in the key house in the first season, like the bird key, the flight key, some of those other ones. And also there's that twist ending that happened, or the quote-unquote surprise ending, which I'll admit got me because I was only thinking from the comic book. So they changed it up enough to where there were even surprises in the TV show for someone like me. So from that standpoint, yeah, I enjoyed the show. Now, I got to tell you, the other thing that kind of spoiled or kind of lessened my enjoyment of the Netflix series. About a month ago, about 2 weeks before the series dropped on Netflix, somebody posted the original Fox pilot on YouTube. It went up and was taken down on the same day. Fortunately, I had a chance to watch that original Fox pilot. And I got to tell you, the original Fox pilot was very, very much a direct adaptation of that first volume of Welcome to Lovecraft. I mean, down to some of the scarier moments and the assault moments and the killing moments and some of the other freaky stuff that happened. Now, the acting wasn't as good. I'm sure they all would have gotten better as the series went on. But it was pretty intense. And I can see why Fox would have passed on that. They probably would have looked at that and said, this is too intense for our prime time. I mean, if people get freaked out by the Supernatural TV series, this, cranks it up to 11. So I kind of was spoiled in two ways going into the Netflix series. Number one, I have read and reread Locke and Key, the entire collection, multiple times. Number two, I saw the Fox pilot, so my anticipation and my hopes were that we were going to see something similar to what Fox passed on. And then it was a very PG-13 or less, maybe just PG version of both of those materials that we saw on Netflix. So bottom line for me, if I were going to give this a star rating, or since this is major spoilers, since this is a Meatloaf rating podcast or show, I'm going to have to give Locke and Key, the Netflix series, 3.5 slices of meatloaf out of 5. It's good. It's very good. I think you will be entertained. I think it is exactly what it wants to be. A kind of tween-friendly, scary magical show. And I think it succeeds in that. But if you were to say that this is supposed to be comparable to or better than the comic book series, then I would say good day to you, sir. Yeah, they burned through, I feel like, because of the Omega Key aspect of it. So there's a couple of things they didn't get into. The time key, obviously, and going back in time and seeing how the keys were created. That's kind of central to discovering what the Whispering Iron is all about. And so then that kind of makes you kind of scratch your head a little bit when they do open the Omega door at the end, which is the Omega volume of Locke Key, which is the last volume there. They did skip over the month volume, right, where they show all these adventures fighting with Dodge and trying to get the keys back and trying to get him taking the keys and whatnot. But the Crown of Shadows sequences in there, which I thought was very kind of cool. The thing that happens with Dodge after the attack of the Shadows, I kind of figured out way ahead of time. But the ending, I was really pleased with the ending. It's like, oh, I didn't see that coming, because both of those characters I didn't care for at all in the TV series. So I was really pleased with how the show ended. And because I watched these over the course of a week, I'd watch 1 or 2 episodes a night during an entire week. So that I finished up 2 weeks ago. Last week, I kind of had a hankering for some more Locke Key, the TV show that Netflix put on. So if there is a season 2, or when that show comes back onto Netflix, you can bet that I'm going to be there, eager to see what happens now, because they are definitely moving outside the territory of the books, and I want to see where they go with this. So that's my review of Locke Key. There's things that are very, very different from the comic book. I still think the comic book is better. I think you guys, if you haven't read the comic book, do yourself a favor if you like horror, and go check out that comic book. Right now, you can get it from IDW Publishing. All volumes are available, including omnibus editions and supersized editions and so on. So hopefully that wasn't too much of a spoiler for you, and hopefully many of you weren't disappointed. And don't get me wrong, I watched that first episode and I felt a little let down, but by the end of the series, I thought everything was okay. Kind of like what they did with the Umbrella Academy. Yeah, Umbrella Academy basically slammed 2 volumes together. But, yeah, they rewrote a bunch of stuff. They tried to make sure it wasn't... I guess the problem with a TV series, when you only have 10 episodes, you have to try to cram in as much information as you can, but you don't want to go as deep as you possibly could. And the comic books for both Umbrella Academy and Locke Key go deep, 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 right? Umbrella Academy from Dark Horse Comics. But you can't do that in a TV show, especially serialized TV show. Even if you are binge watching the TV show, you can't go that deep. And you can't create all the character moments, and you can't create all the nuance, and you can't create all those things. So you're going to have to wave your hand and smear over some of those things. And that's what's going on in Locke Key, and that's certainly what's going on in the Umbrella Academy. I enjoyed the Umbrella Academy, but yeah, it's combining like 2 or 3 different volumes. I forget when the 2 hitmen show up. I want to say that that's in volume 2 as well. But I enjoyed that as well. I enjoyed Locke Key, so don't get me wrong. Giving it 3.5 slices of meatloaf, I can't give it 4. It's pretty close to 4, but we don't go micro slicing the meatloaves. You're either at a 3.5 or you're at a 4. And because I can't give it a 4, it's got to be a 3.5. It's a good show. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Or, now what I'm very excited about, because it is the end of the month, I'm going to use that extra day this month, and I'm going to start watching Altered Carbon, the 2nd season. This one's got Anthony Mackie, Falcon from the Avengers movies. He is now in the Captain America movies as well. But he is going to play our main character. He gets, Takashi gets sleeved into a new body. And I think that's a brilliant way to do it, because now you can stunt cast. You can get let's say you can get Daniel Craig to come in for a season. Well, he's only there for like 10 episodes, and then he's done. He gets sleeved into something else. I'm very curious to see where the story goes, because now this is interesting that you say, if you think that I saw the show first before reading the comic, your opinion would be different. Here's a case example where I would agree with you that I view the show better than I view the book. I love Altered Carbon, the Netflix series. I think it's brilliant. I think you still have to follow the logic very carefully and all the clues very carefully. But back in the beginning of January, I went in and read Altered Carbon, the book, and I think the changes that they made for the TV show were much, much better. So, yeah, there you go. Did you finish Dark Season 2? No, once we got into the future, I watched 2 episodes of that one, and I kind of drifted off. I think what I need to do is go back and rewatch Dark Season 1 and then immediately go into Season 2. But I've got so many things that are disjointed right now. I still have to finish The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Season 2 and 3. I need to get to finish the 5th season of Magicians. That's the one that I've been kind of burning through lately, is the Magicians. And then there's something else on Netflix that I am supposed to be watching, but I'm not. Let me see. Oh, no, I don't. I have to sign in on that one. Stephen, have you forgotten over your fear of snakes, and are you ready to continue Forgotten Age? Brad and I are done with Forgotten Age. We finished recording the last episode of Forgotten Age on Monday. And so we have all of the games ready to be released, but we're not going to release them yet. And if you are a Patreon member, patreon.com/major spoilers, right there, patreon.com/major spoilers. If you were able to tend, if you were a gold member, you get access to the VIP live chat, where every month myself and whoever else is available, we sit in and talk with you about what's going on behind the scenes at Major Spoilers. And specifically, I spelled out exactly what I want to do with Munchkinland going forward. It's not gone, but it ain't coming back anytime soon. Well, anytime soon, it'll come back this year, right? But it's not going to come back next week. It'll probably come back in July if I have my thoughts and my ways on this. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. What is today? 4 for March, 4 for April. I got some fingers and toes here. 4 for March, 4 for April, 4 for May, 4 for June. Probably in July or August. Yeah. So if you want to know why, then you need to become a gold member at patreon.com/major spoilers. The good thing is you get access to the VIP live chat every month. You get access to the GM Roundtable, one of the new shows that we're doing. We just recorded the 3rd episode live for people to interact with us, kind of like what we do with Finally Friday, but audio only, number 1. And number 2, it's only for patrons, and it's helping you become a better GM. Plus, we have, when you become a patron right now, going on Shadow of the Demon Lord, recorded in binaural audio. We also have another thing coming next month, specifically for gold members, and you'll want to check that out as well. March 4th, I think, is when that episode lands. And there's a bunch of other stuff that you get, in addition to supporting everything that we do at majorspoilers.com, because without your support, we can't do what we are doing here. And what we're doing right here is we're going to end the show, because I do have, again, get over in the Discord channel, become a patron, because I explained all the problems that we're going to have with the new Critical Hit that I'm releasing a week early for our patrons. I've got to edit that tonight, and it's going to be a tough one. You can find out more when you go to patreon.com/major spoilers. Become a patron, link to the Discord, and then you get access to all sorts of crazy stuff. And you may be thinking, yeah, VIP sounds good, but $10 a month, the bonus extra special thing that's about to launch, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Where's the best bang for my buck? And really, I don't want you to spend $10 if you can't afford $10. I don't want you to spend $25. I don't want you to spend $40. I think the best bang for your buck, where you get, right now, 4 or 5 additional programs, 4 or 5 additional programs per month. I will swear by 4. Major Spoilers pre-show, Flashback, Shadow of the Demon Lord, and the thing that launches in March. Well, that one's for gold members only. But the best bang for your buck, definitely the $5 membership. The silver level membership is where you want to be. Let's see. Kevin 11 says, enjoying all great things here on the Major Spoilers Twitch channel. There's even more cool stuff at patreon.com/major spoilers. And the Great NATO says Sabrina was really good. I enjoy it. I think it's a really good series. I like the actress who plays Sabrina. What's her name? Sharon Kipka or whatever her name is. She's a really good actress. I like her. I like the ants. I think they do a really good job too. I think everyone in that show is really good. So, all right, that is, thank you for your thoughts and your hard work. Oh, thank you, Scald's Tale. We're here to provide fun content for you. And so thanks for stopping in. I hope you enjoyed my review of Locke Key. Oh, one more thing before I go. This is another thing that came into the mail. I don't know anything about this. This is Peterson Games. Unlocking Insanity is the game. It says, you are all aspiring cultists in the rising cult of Cthulhu. As you continue your indoctrination, you must prove you can handle the teachings of the great old ones. You might go insane or perhaps just gain a touch of the madness, but as long as you prove that you have the most mastery, you will be welcomed as the newest neophyte of Cthulhu. This is for ages 10 plus, 2 to 5 players. Takes about 30 minutes, it says. Looks like it's a dice rolling placement resource game. That came in this week as well. I'm sure we'll probably try to play it on an upcoming Munchkinland episode. All right, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. Remember, if you want more live streaming action, tomorrow, Saturday, 3 o'clock p.m. Central, I will be jumping on the Twitch once more, and we will venture off into the video game land. I think maybe, I don't know, I really want to play some more Red Dead, but I kind of want to get back into the card games again. So maybe I'll put, maybe you guys over in the Discord, or maybe now, if you have thoughts, which one do you want me to play? Red Dead Redemption 2 Open World, or do you want me to get back to the Legendary DXP Smash Up, which has a new expansion? The Princess expansion has just come out for that. And Mystic Vale. I can play those games for you if you like. So let me know, and we'll be back tomorrow, 3 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Adjust your clocks accordingly. And until the next time when we're hanging out and when it's finally Friday, take care, do good, be good, and we will see you soon.